And we're back with some NBA observations right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Hopefully, you will like and subscribe. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to the Lakers Fast Break so you know the latest notifications on when we go live or when we come up with the latest video that we drop, including the NBA observations. And if you're a member for just $2.99 a month, you get this a little bit early. So hopefully you'll become a member today to go ahead and be a part of what we're doing right here at the Lakers Fast Break. But either which way, it's always great that you're stopping by for some NBA observations. And Caleb is unfortunately busy this week, but a guy who I was supposed to get on last week, but our schedules I just could never get it done during the afternoon last week. So it's my fault this time around. But a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he does each and every time out at I Got Next Sports Media. Please like and subscribe there. He is a great part of our late night, seemingly lately, although in the next few days will be earlier in the evening for our post games. It is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Legend, what's up, my friend?
Nothing much, Gerald. How about you?
Doing okay. Heading into an interesting week, obviously, when we're recording this, celebrating the life and the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. Hopefully, everyone out there takes a moment just to appreciate what he did for humanity as a whole. And again, I won't put any more diatribes to have in this day and age where people go left and right and all that stuff and, say the word, but please just take a moment to understand what he did for the world community as a whole. And if you can, for just a moment, that is greatly appreciated. And I'll leave it at that. But Legend, it is so great to have you here and part of what we're doing, my friend. The Lakers, as we saw last night when we recorded our post-game show, they won. Now they head out on a 8-game road trip. Your Atlanta Hawks earlier today on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because the NBA loves to celebrate it with a ton of games all over the day. They lost, unfortunately, and your Golden State Warriors are, I believe, yet to come. But you wanted to go ahead and touch on some subjects first before we get into what I wanted to talk about here at the halfway point, and also a rookie, which we have all forgotten about until it was brought to my attention last week. Your thoughts, my friend, and what's going on with what you wanted to go ahead and hit up on for today's show.
I just had to bring up how about the All-Star starters have been announced? LeBron James didn't make the cut.
Yes, his record streak has been broken. All things come to an end, and seemingly this has been the year where a lot of LeBron streaks have come to an end. The double-digit streak, and now the All-Star game starter streak. But I'm not going to shed a tear over it. I am a Lakers fan. I do appreciate LeBron and everything he's done over the years, but again, he has not had the greatest of years. This is probably his worst year ever statistically. Even his rookie year, I think, supersedes this one. So I'm not surprised. And by the fact that we talked about it last night, we calculated the number of the games. He's not even going to make a chance to be on the All-Star as far as the All-NBA teams as well. So again, we have to appreciate the fact that he is still a 20-point scorer, 27-7 or whatever he is as far as his stats are concerned. We still have to appreciate the fact that he's doing this as a 41-year-old. I know Jordan, the comparisons are there, but Jordan, when he did this at a slightly younger age as far as what he did with the Washington Wizards. So again, what LeBron is doing, again, it's remarkable, but it's not surprising he can no longer be up there in that upper pantheon of all NBA players.
I definitely say it is impressive. All streaks are meant to come to an end at some point, but it is impressive that at his age of 41, still putting up some decent numbers. By this point, most players would have dropped off and barely playing anymore at this point. I remember when Vince Carter in his very last season with the Hawks, He didn't really play that much. He was more of a mentor to a lot of the young guys. He went nowhere near putting up no 20 points. So the fact that LeBron is still doing it, that's impressive. I thought it was impressive that Steph Curry at 37 in the starting lineup for the All Stars. I thought that was impressive.
And
So
Kevin
you can
Durant
tell,
just passed at 37 himself,
yep,
just passed Dirk Nowitzki for sixth place on the all-time scoring list.
it's kind of hard to believe that all them guys from that era is starting to fade off. So kind of hard to believe it can be in a new era without them being involved.
But they're not doing it like you said. They're not doing it as an end of the bench guy, mentor guy. They're all doing it, and they're still scoring 20 points a game and above. So, we really take time out sometimes to criticize LeBron, and so does our audience. And some of our audience just absolutely loathes LeBron and wants him gone like yesterday. But if we could just take a step away from that hate for just a second here and just understand, yes, I understand he's taken $52.6 million. And I understand that's hard to disassociate themselves from it. And he's not earning that 52.6 million every single game that he plays out there. I get that. I understand that. But just the fact, let's put that aside for just a moment, just appreciate the fact that we have some of the remnants from that high era of basketball. LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant still around, still scoring, still able to sometimes turn back the clock and bring us some great memories that they still can provide.
Cause we may not ever see this again when it's all said and done. All three of these guys are gone. Who knows what in this era are going to be like? They may not be able to do what they're doing. They may fade off at the age of 37. Kind of hard to really say. So just got to enjoy it while we can, and just appreciate the greatness. And I'll easily tell anyone I am not a LeBron James fan. Really don't care for the guy that much, but I can respect that he's greatness. I can respect that he done a lot of amazing things in his 23-year career in the NBA, and it's amazing what he's doing right now still.
Yes, it is. And again, it is what it is, and we get that. And tomorrow, if he has an underwhelming game in Denver, we'll be right back at him. And again,
why is he sucking up? Ready?
Yeah, why is he sucking up $52.6 million? Blah blah blah. You know the rest. So again, I'm just saying, I'm not a LeBron sexual, not a LeBron stan. Just the fact. I'm a believer in the facts. And the facts are, at 41 years of age, there has been no one that has played at this level. Jordan retired by this time. Anybody who else has played at this age has not achieved that kind of stature as far as the stats are concerned. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But again, LeBron James not named to the All-Star game. His streak is over. Let me go ahead and try and get the number of he is first time in a generation. ESPN announced. So yes, the last time, of course, he has been okay. He has been selected and named to a starter for a record 21 All-Star games in his career. Everyone since this 2005 game in Denver. But yeah, it's just not, that wasn't meant to be. But he is still having a productive season. Maybe we just wanted to go ahead and see a little bit more, but unfortunately, like I said, 41 years of age, we're getting what we're getting right now. But my friend, we have reached the halfway point of the NBA season.
Yeah.
So it's time for some NBA observations on the halfway point. And right now, as we see it with their win earlier today, and it was so funny because, Cleveland, which has been one of the most disappointing teams in the NBA this season, they hosted the OKC Thunder, and everybody knows the hot start that OKC got off to. And I think a lot of people were looking at OKC once they started to fade a little bit with San Antonio. Ooh, is there a pathway to success for the rest of the NBA against the OKC Thunder? Well, they overcame that and have looked more like a very, very good team, not the undefeatable team, the unbeatable team that they've been for the earlier part of the season, but they have been pretty good. And today they went into Cleveland and just absolutely drop kicked them into the next century, seemingly they won by 30 plus. Your thoughts, my friend, on the OKC Thunder at the halfway point? Again, a team that has really exceeded as far as many expectations over the past couple of years. But now that they're the champs, they're seemingly now, and they've gotten that early 26-1 record out of the way. They finally are now be able to focus on, you know what, we're just going to play good basketball and load up for the playoffs.
I could definitely say, they done had a pretty good season. They had their moment, showed some struggle to the Spurs, but at least
74
they
is
won.
gone.
Yeah,
74 is
that's
gone.
gone. Yeah, that's over with. But I can at least say though that they finally beat the Spurs. They let you know, all right, that's not in the back of their mind and in their psyche that we can't beat the Spurs, that we got a problem. I think this team will let us know that they're still a championship team. You can tell it. They play defense. They do everything right. They got a great coach. They have shown this season that the West still run through them. No matter what anyone want to say, the West still runs through them. They're still there. They're still the team to beat. You got the West, and they're showing they're still a championship team. They're showing they still can come out this West with no problem. Do I think they're gonna face some challenges? I think they're gonna face some challenges. They faced several challenges to get out the West last year, but I definitely think they're gonna face some this year. I think the Spurs are gonna probably be that team that will get them some real trouble. They already shown it. They can do it. Now let's see if the Spurs can translate that into the playoff. But overall, Oklahoma's shown they can win games either with Jalen Williams, without Jalen Williams, with Dirk, whoever's available. They have shown we can win games when one of our guys are out. They've done it. Did it today without Jalen Williams. I think he's out indefinitely right now. So there's no telling when he'll be back. But the way they're winning, they probably won't rush him back. Overall, I think they'll have a pretty good season. Still showing they are the champions. They are the team to beat. And ain't nobody can use the word experience anymore with this thing. They ready for the playoff. I mean, they just cruising to the playoff time now.
You were right about what you're saying about Williams because what you're seeing with them. I know that I spoke to Caleb, and Caleb, who covers the Oklahoma City Thunder for the Swab Report, he has focused in on the struggles for Jalen Williams, and it's obviously leading to what happened with his wrist and the injuries that have lingered from last season. He has just not been the same, but hasn't really mattered because again, 36-8, the OKC Thunder looked like they're on their way to another 60+ win season, and again, they also have, because of Nikola Jokic's injury. And it's so funny because Nikola Jokic, in a lot of people's mine, for example, had just taken back, in my opinion, the lead for MVP race because he was getting, I think he had a 50-point triple double,
Yeah, 50 points.
right around just before he got injured. And the OKC Thunder had started. Were in the midst of their losing streak against the San Antonio Spurs. So my mind had shifted over as far as MVP over to Nikola Jokic. Well, yeah, all it took is one injury, one teammate running into his knee, and there you go. And now SGA, I think, is the unquestioned leader in the clubhouse. With the Lakers free fall, Luka cannot take a claim to the MVP. My question is, SGA is the MVP at this point, and I still say, even though he's been out, you'd probably have to put Nikola Jokic as a clear second. With third, that's what I want to ask about. When it comes to what you see with third, you have, of course, the season that Luka Doncic is having, and that's been a great source of conversation for our chat as well. But you also have guys like Jaylen Brown in the mix that have really led a resurgence about after a quarter of the season for the Boston Celtics. You have Victor Wembanyama, who's just scoring 30 points right now on the Utah Jazz as we speak. He's come back from injury. He has been, once he got back to the starting lineup, he's been dominating again. Your thoughts, my friend, on who is that next tier after SGA and Nikola Jokic?
For me, that third spot, I'm gonna go with Cade from Detroit Pistons because he got them as the number one team in the East. I thought that's pretty impressive. That's one heck of a turnaround to me with Detroit going from where they was last year to where he is now. That's a heck of a turnaround.
2 years ago, actually.
And then I also think about how this team was just making history a couple years ago, being one of the worst teams we've seen lose so many games in a row. And now look at them. That's to me is one heck of a turnaround. That to me is impressive. And
Yep, like you said, I mean, San Antonio and Detroit have taken a very similar trajectory from a losing team, really losing team. In fact, in Pistons' case, a record-losing team to a team that had aspirations, and in case the Pistons got to the first round of playoffs, and they both have jumped exceedingly since then to first in the East and second in the West.
And I think that's pretty amazing, which is why I think Cade and Victor Wembanyama both probably fighting for that third spot. Just seeing how both those two teams turn around. I think Luka is probably my fourth person. I probably had him as third if the Lakers would just held on to that second, third spot. But I know they done dipped off a little bit, and he's been kind of in and out the lineup too. So I feel like it's only fair to kind of bring him down a little bit. But Cade and him, I had to give credit to Cade and him a lot. But I would probably put Cade maybe it's a little over Victor Wembanyama just because they're number one in the East and they look good. I don't know if they're gonna come out the East. That's the part I'm kind of interested to see how they do in the playoff. But overall, no matter what happens in the playoff, they had a successful season. No matter what happens, they had a heck of a season.
Absolutely, but their eyes are on something bigger as they've opened up a lead in the Eastern Conference. They are 30-10, and actually, they're not. They're still a little bit behind us. They have to close up the gap on the wins part, but they're not too far behind the OKC Thunder. If they go on a streak, if they go on a winning streak, then maybe we can start talking about them at a little bit higher context. But right now, they are number one in the East. Boston is now solidified itself in second place. The free fall in New York, I think that's a segment in and of itself because I don't know what's really going on there. Although I know somewhere Tom Thibodeau is probably laughing his butt off every time they lose, like they did earlier today. But yes, what we're seeing in the East and the West right now at the halfway point is very interesting. I don't think that OKC has the same kind of shine that it once did, but obviously they're a team that can load up even more. They have plenty of assets. If they see something they like at the trade deadline, they can go and get it because of what they have. They have a lot of advantages, but it's not insurmountable for a Detroit, a Boston, a New York, a San Antonio, a Denver, a Minnesota. It's not insurmountable for those teams that could possibly stand a chance in a playoff matchup against the OKC Thunder.
You're absolutely right. I would definitely say, Oklahoma is not as that shiny new brand new toy, like you said, anymore, but a lot of teams still fear them. And I would definitely say Boston's my other one I was very surprised of to see how well they have hung around and let alone at the top of the East pretty much now. I don't think nobody saw that coming knowing that you didn't have Tatum. So I think that's another impressive thing about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown showing some real leadership and showing that, I don't know, maybe Jason Brown is maybe he's the real alpha dog of Boston. It's hard to say. He's really shown himself this season.
Well, we'll see what happens, my friend, but halfway through, it's been a pretty good season so far from what we're seeing. Some surprises, some disappointments, but definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to take place over the course of this second half of the season for not just the Lakers, not just your Hawks and your Warriors, but as we get closer to the trade deadline to see what happened, because the trade deadline, surprise, surprise, everyone out there, is less than a month away. So definitely looking forward to spiking up that trade talk as it gets closer to the trade deadline. Indeed, again, seeing how the landscape of this league has been set out over the course of the first half of the season has been interesting to see teams such as the Clippers, with all the stuff that's gone on off the court, seeing them finally start to get it together. They've won 6 in a row. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now. But it's kind of concerning because with the Clippers, again, as one of the sheer disappointments in the league so far in the first half, seemingly wanting to turn around. But now the question remains, once things start to go good in the Clipperland, with the news from Kawhi Leonard, the Clips gonna clip.
Yeah, I always feel like when it comes to the Clippers, something always happens. But it's just unfortunate, about Kawhi injury, and we're gonna see if the Clippers can hold on to what they've been doing without him, because they've been playing pretty well, and I can tell they're trying to get into that play. I think they might be even playing right now.
They're in at 10th spot, so they're technically in the play-in right now.
They're in the play-in right now. So they don't done good to dig their way out that hole they was in what a month or so ago. But they
Mhm.
just got to try to hang on and keep on climbing the best they can. And I can at least give them credit. They're not trying to give Oklahoma a lottery pick, so I give them credit for that because
Absolutely.
Oklahoma could have been
Absolutely.
smiling to the bank.
Yes, and to further compound their, I guess one of their dumbest moves ever, as far as what they did, as far as their trade is concerned, compound that with giving them a lottery pick on top of it. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers. Again, with Kawhi Leonard being sent back home while on the road trip to further evaluate his very old knee that is probably way older than he is, but again, it's
Yeah,
we'll
probably need
see
to put
what
some oil
happens.
on that knee.
Exactly. He is having his best season too. So, but that during the regular season, people are remarking about how well another bygone era player having a really good or resurgent season. So, very sad to see him having the issues. But then again, this is what you've gotten over the course of the years with Kawhi Leonard. Those brief glimpses of brilliance mired in with longer glimpses of injury. So we'll see what happens with him and the Clippers. But overall, this halfway point in the season has been very interesting to see. We talked about the MVP at this point. Any more observations that you have for the NBA, my friend?
I want to know what is going on in Charlotte land because they keep
Mhm.
beating all these good teams. Where was
Absolutely.
this the whole season? We can do this.
Absolutely. I did make it a point, and I sent that over to you about Charlotte being one of the strangest teams in probably the strangest team in the NBA. And I point that out as
Them
far as,
important.
yeah, what their record is in recent days. Okay. As far as who they beat, who they've lost to. So, again, let's just go back over the past few weeks. Since Christmas, as far as right around that turn. They beat Washington, they beat Orlando, then they lose to Milwaukee, they lose to Golden State and Milwaukee. Not surprising for a team where they're at. Then they destroy Chicago right around the
Yep.
turn of the year. And then the biggest win of all, they obliterated OKC in
Yeah,
OKC.
that one was stunning.
Yes, and then they go back. They lose close games to Toronto, and then Indiana, the worst team in the NBA. They lose to them, but then they go out the next game and blow out Utah by 55. And then they go to the Intuit Dome. They lost to even a hotter team, the Clippers. They come in to the Crypt. They beat the Lakers handily. They lose to your team, the Golden State Warriors, by 20, and then they go into Denver and destroy the Denver
Yep.
Nuggets. I can't get this team. I
Yeah,
don't
I don't
know this.
understand.
What the heck is going on in Charlotte, my friend?
I mean, I about want to ask the coach, what are y'all just testing lineups or because it's like you seen something different every other game. You gotta find some type of consistency. If you can win games like this, that means your team is probably better than what your record really shows. If you can figure out what's missing to make it stay clicking like that, it's almost like they're coming on to something. But can you figure out what it is so you can at least consistently win that way? Because it's like they're knocking on the door at something. They got something down there that's put it together.
Absolutely. Very well said. Exactly my thoughts as well. Com Knipple with the injury to Cooper Flag, solidifying himself right there at the top of the rookie of the year conversation.
Yep.
Although he is not the leading scorer since Christmas for rookies, and we'll touch on that before we head on out. You got Com Knipple there. Miles Bridges is having a really rock solid year for him right there at the small forward position. Brandon Miller came back from the injury plague year that he had last season, and he's providing a really good mix for them. So again, their wings are really doing a good job. Com Knipple, I said, as far as just as a coming in, averaging 19 a game for him. The one that has always been troubling everybody is sort of focused on LaMelo Ball. Now, LaMelo Ball is not having the kind of amazing season that he did when it was LaMelo Ball versus the
They're
universe,
trying to
which they
trade
had.
him, right?
Yeah, so they're talking about moving him, possibly him, because maybe Charlotte is seeing a pathway without him. But he's in there with them, he's not playing so bad. He's got right around 20 points, 8 assists, whatnot. He's doing the things that he needs to do. This is probably to a lot of people a better LaMelo Ball than what they see when he tries to go for 30 and takes 3 pointers with 23 seconds left on the shot clock. So I have I guess a really, really good opinion as far as LaMelo Ball, being that I think that with LaMelo Ball, this is the LaMelo Ball everybody wants to see, but I'm not sure it's the LaMelo Ball that LaMelo Ball wants to see. LaMelo Ball wants to see himself as a guy that's getting all the shots and getting all the glory. But the betterment for the Charlotte Hornets is probably that just becomes a part of the machine instead of trying to become the machine.
Yeah, I feel like LaMelo probably still have a little bit of what LeVar Ball always thought of him being a superstar, and I think that's probably ingrained in his mind that, hey, I'm good enough to be a franchise player, and that just might not be what Charlotte needs out of him right now. They probably really need to be more bought into the system and just kind of going with the flow. They look really good when they're going with the flow and not somebody taking 20 or 30 some shots. That's not what they need from him, and that might be hard for him to accept. I feel like if you want to be that type of star, you maybe want to go to I don't know, Washington Wizards, or I know some team that they ain't really trying to win, but probably would love to find their guy to build around. Maybe they can give you a shot to try to be their guy. But I think Charlotte is beginning to figure things out, and who knows, maybe Charlotte will be really good next year. It might finally be pretty good.
Might finally be pretty good if they can put it all together. You've obviously seen the imprints of that with what we're seeing with their victories in Denver, in OKC, at the Lakers, just those impressive victories. So, and Utah, the 55-point win at Utah. So let's see if they can continue to put things together over the second half of the season. I'm not saying that there's play-in possibilities for them. I'm just saying it's about time for the folks in Charlotte to see a team that has improvement. And it looks like they've got 3 good players they can build around. The question is, do they want to build around LaMelo Ball along with it to make a fourth, or do they move him, get more pieces in there, put Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's been a big surprise for them as a second-round draft pick, and as far as helping them out as well, seeing what they can do with that. But yeah, Charlotte has just been a pretty good surprise. But again, you want to see them put everything together and maybe, come out in the second half and think about maybe a play-in. But I'm not holding my breath on that.
Right.
But also they have to evaluate over the next few weeks to see if LaMelo Ball will still be a part of their future as well.
I think that would have been a pretty nice goal for them, and just, hey, let's make the play-in. You make the play-in, I think that's a successful season. And then, like you said, Gerald, we'll see if they decide to keep LaMelo and maybe do something this summer or ship him off before the trade deadline. Might be somebody out there that might want him.
Might be, but they are 3 games behind your Hawks for the play-in.
Yeah,
so it's not out of the realm of possibility. So we'll see what happens.
Big disappointment to me this season.
Yeah, somewhere Trae Young in Washington, D.C. is laid up laughing because of that. He doesn't have to get play ball because they don't want him to play ball because they want to tank in Washington. He's getting paid a tremendous amount of money, and he doesn't have to see or be held to what Atlanta has the folks in Atlanta, the fans in Atlanta have held for him for quite some time. So again, he must be loving it right now. So we'll see what happens. But once again, it's some NBA observations. But before we head on out, my friend, Caleb and I, we went and we talked about the rookies and the rookie of the year for voting and who we went and we made our teams and all that. And we both overshot and we both missed an undrafted rookie that is tearing up the league for the most part. That kind of struggled last night, but over the past month since Christmas has been the leading scorer among rookies in the NBA, and that's Caleb Love of Portland. He looked very good the other night against the Lakers, and again has looked very good for the past 2 weeks. He is an older rookie, an undrafted rookie. So it's a rookie that, again, any of those general managers, Rob Pelinka, could have gotten in the second round over what they got Your thoughts, my friend, on Caleb Love? He has provided a really good imprint, hopefully going forward for his career. We'll see what happens, but can he be someone that could stay in the rotation and be a good part of Portland's future for the Trailblazers?
I think if he can just keep doing what he's doing, continue to develop his game, he's gonna have a good place in Portland. But if it ain't Portland, someone else in the league would love to have him. But I love seeing stories like this because it just shows you ain't got to be drafted just to know you can make it to the NBA. And
Austin
also,
Reeves.
Austin Reeves, prime example.
Yeah.
You know,
Probably the best example. He could be on the verge of a $200 million contract, and he was an undrafted player. Could Caleb Love be following in his footsteps?
could be. I was just about to say that could be following the same footsteps. It did let general managers know, hey, you might want to pay attention more to these undrafted guys because you just never know what hidden gem is amongst them hidden undrafted guys. And to me, them undrafted guys are gonna have more of a hunger to want to work and really do what they got to do in the league because they was undrafted. They already got a chip on their shoulder. They're gonna be willing to do a lot more than them fellows that got drafted versus them. So I think general managers need to open up a little bit more and look in that undrafted market to see what's out there. Because sometimes a hidden star could be there.
Yeah, you are correct on that. And it's also the fact that, again, when you go to these second rounders and you're making your choices, picking, don't commit them to a guaranteed contract for multiple years. Give them a chance to earn that pay each and
Right.
every time out. Like, for instance, I'll go to Rob Pelinka. He is given the Adu Thiero, who has barely played anything because he's had constant knee issues, a contract for the next 2 years, guaranteed, before the Lakers can decide to do what they want with him in 27, 28. So, again, I just think with the second rounders, nothing should be guaranteed outside of your first year because you are in many ways not that far off from the undrafted individuals who are trying to fight for the league. And it allows that second rounder to go ahead and become, like you said, more hungry for an opportunity to see if they are going to be developing into a player that you can build around going forward. The dark side of that is someone like Bronny James, who is on a 3-year guaranteed contract with a 4th-year team
I would
option.
never understand that contract.
And well, that I will understand it as 2 words, LeBron James. That I'll tell you right there. But they've committed to that, and now they're stuck with it because he's clearly shown he's not an NBA level player. But the flip side of that is someone like Caleb Love, who doesn't have anybody that he can go ahead and say, "Oh, I get the rub off of this guy or get the rub from this guy." I had to earn my spot, and he is earning it. And Portland looks like they might have a good rotational piece for the future.
Yeah, Portland looking like they might be a lot better next season than what people think if they can continue to build on this trajectory that they're going. Portland looking really good. So I would say Portland and Charlotte both got some bright features if they can continue to build on this success.
Do you think Charlotte, getting back to Charlotte one last time, do you think they should trade LaMelo Ball? If you were the GM's office and you're looking at it and you saw either this summer or at the trade deadline, do you think like the Trae Young situation went bad? And I know Joe's gone off it and he can't understand why that they traded Trae Young for what they traded. But I guess he doesn't really have an understanding of what smaller guards who can't defend what the value is for players like that in this league. But he just sees the 20 and 10. He doesn't see the other side as far as on the defensive side of the ball and the size thing. And I get that. I understand that. That's still traditional thinking that hasn't gone away. John Morant and the trade value for him is finding that out right now in Memphis because nobody seems to want a smaller guard who can't shoot in his case. So, or defend in his case. So with that, my friend, what happens now with LaMelo Ball, who is 6'8", whether or not he wants to defend or can defend, that again, it's
and the injury prone.
Yeah, he's injury prone. On top of it, what is the market for LaMelo Ball if he does come up to what we see out there?
Well, I could definitely tell Charlie you're not going to get a bunch of first round draft picks for him, so that's dead. But maybe you can at least get some aspiring, maybe a couple second round picks. Something somebody don't mind taking a chance on. But it got to be a team that I feel like that doesn't mind just taking a chance on LaMelo Ball, knowing that he's injury prone, knowing that he can be a defensive liability, but there's potential in this kid. So you gotta be someone who's willing to don't mind taking a chance off of, knowing that it may go well, it may not go well. So you gotta find somebody who don't mind taking a possible 50-50 chance. But I think there's still some value. There's still some value. But if it was me, if I'm them, I would at least look to see what is out there. Man, if you don't see anything really great, just bring them back. It's not like it's toxic in the locker room. So when it ain't toxic, bring them back if you can't find what you really want.
We'll see. But right now, Charlotte is one of the teams I can't figure out, but we'll find out what's going on with them as they continue to surprise and underwhelm all in the same week right there for you. But Legend, it's been great having you here. Always great to talk to you and catch up with you. Again, Legend, who's part of our post games whenever you can stop on by, plus always providing NBA observation as well. But he also hosts a great channel named I Got Next Sports Media. It's right there on the screen. Go ahead, please like and subscribe. What do you do as far as your upcoming shows or what you're doing for your upcoming shows soon on I Got Next Sports Media?
I definitely will be doing probably an NBA trade show and just talk about potential trades around the league. I will be doing my own feedback about the championship game with Indiana and Miami. We'll be doing my thoughts on that. And then I'm going to probably do a discussion about what next year college football may look like. Like what's the preseason rankings looking like? See, did they get it right? Did they get it wrong? Or did they do what they typically do? And they throw a bunch of SEC teams in there.
There you go. Absolutely. And with the national championship game coming up in a matter of minutes as we record this, the college football season will end, but the conversation always continues at a great place called I Got Next Sports Media, indeed. But Legend, always great to have you here, my friend, providing some great NBA observations. Any last thoughts before we head on out to the second half of the NBA season?
I'll just say, let's get ready for some trades. I get the feeling trades are about to start happening.
So funny because Joe says the exact opposite. We'll see what happens. One says one way, one says the other way.
If it don't happen now, that means the summer gonna be spicy then.
Okay, fair enough. I think the summer is going to be spicy because there's not a plethora of free agents out there. So the only way to fix your team is via the trade. So we'll see what happens indeed. Once again, it is Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to all the great stuff that he's doing today at I Got Next Sports Media. It's Gerald Glassford again for us. Also like and subscribe. And remember, if you're a member, you can get this early, and we truly appreciate if you do. And if not, if you're seeing this after the fact, we still appreciate you watching. As always, everything on the Lakers Fast Break channel, as we always try to go ahead and provide you the best in NBA observations.